Hi again, so welcome back to another one of my tournament report videos. This time it's going to be a YCS 3v3 special. So I haven't actually posted in a few weeks because I've actually just come back from holiday to Portugal on Thursday evening and bought these goodies from the airport. So in Portugal there's a brand of shops called FNAC, and it seems to be like a mix of gaming, music, kind of like HMV I guess. So these are all in Portuguese and I'll be opening them on a video later in the week. So yeah, so I went to the London YCS yesterday, which is my first YCS ever, and it was such a great experience. I took my Traptrix deck and I just want to report to you how I did, run through my matchups as usual, and talk about some changes that I would or wouldn't do. So once again, not a deck profile video, but I will quickly just run through the kind of ratios just so you have an overview of what I'm doing. So again, your standard 3 Remelio, 3 Mantis, 2 Dionea. I've actually gone down to 2 Pudica. I just found that because I only run 1 Traptrix Garden, the ratio of 2 and 1 was much better because I hated drawing Pudica and Garden in the same hand. And I think drawing Pudica late game is not particularly helpful. I just don't want to see her that often. I'd rather like draw her once, get the Garden, and keep the other one in my deck to special summon off of Sarah later, because her banish effect is incredible. 2 Arachnocampa, which is absolutely fine because you'll search that as an extender, usually off Mantis. 3 Exceed, for obviously easy rank 4. I guess you say Holutea is also part of that package too. Obviously got to run that at 3. 2, 2 and 2 of my trap holes that I like. And then you've got the 1 Garden for the Pudica, 3 Pot of Prosp to dig for stuff, 3 Lancia to protect against evenly, but I'll talk about more about the utility of Lancia later on in the video. I've got 3 of the good stuff here, so you've got 3 Imperm, 3 Evenly, and 3 Ash. And then just on consultation with my boyfriend who plays Labyrinth, who was one of my teammates as well on the 3v3, he was like, yeah, why don't you just put 1 Lord of the Heavenly just to see how you get on? So I was like, yeah, why not? And it's a nice secret shiny bode version as well. Alright, so that was my main, and then side, obviously 3 Sarah, 2 Atopus, 1 Lingribo in case of Ibli, 2 Rafflesia, 2 Pingicula, 1 Alamirus, 1 Time Thief, 1 Zeus, and this is the extra spice I added in this time because I always have problems making Zeus because these ones are a little bit small sometimes to hit over big things. So this one, you can just overlay it on top of Utopia. You can detach its materials during damage calc and you increase its attack to 5,000, so you'll basically be able to hit over whatever big thing they got on the field, and you can overlay Zeus in defense and threaten that on your opponent's turn. So I found that pretty helpful actually. So that's that. I'll quickly just go through my side actually. So yeah, back row hate going on, 3 Godalas, 3 Gozen, 3 Tronlock, and 3 Solemn Judgment was what I decided to go for. Alright, so I've got some notes with me, so let's go through the first matchup. So first matchup was against a Pure Dogmatika deck. So when this was, you know, when he first started doing stuff, because I lost the dice roll, so he went first. I was like, oh my god, is this Dogmatika invoked or something? But, you know, he was very fun. He was like, yeah, this is just pure Dogmatika. I was like, okay. So that was fine. But I think the main thing that kind of pulled through for me in that game was Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, this card right here. Because when they have Ecclesia out on the field, I believe they can special summon Maximus from their hand, and then they'll activate the Maximus to try and send as part of effect 2 monsters from their extra deck, and it also makes you send 2 from your extra deck as well. So obviously I didn't want them to get Entis and any advantage, so Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare is perfect because it specifically pertains to when a monster that was special summoned this turn activates its effect, negate that effect if you do destroy, so that was fantastic. So I didn't let him get that the Maximus effect off all game. So I ended up winning the first game, and then we went second. I think went second again, and then I think he just set one, and then there was Denko Sekka in attack mode. I think Denko's only got about 1700, and I think while neither player controls set spells or traps, I think no one can set them or something like that. But he'd already set Cosmic Cyclone, so I was like, okay, I can set stuff. I found out it was a Cosmic Cyclone later because I managed to use Mamelio to pop. I can't remember how I got rid of Denko Sekka, but I think I just ran over it using main deck monsters. I think, somehow. So I think I must have exceed and gone into one of my big girls in the extra deck. So that was actually not a bad matchup. So I won 2-0 on that one. My boyfriend plays Labyrinth, so he was on that. And then our other friend, who we also go to locals with, he was playing Marincess. So that was our team Purple Cards and Marincess, basically. I won my match, but unfortunately my teammates both lost theirs, so we lost our first 3v3. So moving on to my second matchup, this is really interesting because it was against Kashtira, and I've actually never played against Kashtira because at my locals I think we're quite, I won't say we're budget, but we're not like made of money at our locals. So there's very few Kashtira players. So this is the first time I played against them. And I won the dice roll by some miracle. So I just want to summarise that I think the Traptrix Kashtira matchup is a really good one for me because Floodgate Trap Hole is just absolutely insane against Kashtira. You just flip their special summon thing face down and they can't special summon anything back out. They can't XZ. I don't think I let him XZ at all during the 2 games that we played. So again, I won 2-0 against him and just choked him out using control stuff. Every time he got something out, special summon, activate effect, I just negate and destroy. I think he did manage to lava golem me, but the lava golem was not too bad because I think I got Traptrix Garden. So this is the thing, if you get lava golemed or sphere moded in Traptrix, it's not the end of the world as long as you survive. You can use the effect of Traptrix Garden to banish the Ra sphere mode or lava golem, and then you can use it to special summon any Traptrix or anything from your graveyard or hand if you have that. So the Traptrix Garden totally works with that. Alternatively, you could also just link them off because we do have Atopus. So if we want to try and make her, you can use her as one of them because it says 2+ monsters, including at least 1 insect or plant monster. So those are options if you do get, tributed with, Godala or Humongous, which happened to me practically every single game. It was just straight on the Rafflesia. I don't think I managed to get Rafflesia off too much. I think the Kashtira basically controlled them using a combination of Floodgate Trap Hole as well as special summoning Pudica off of Holitea to just banish their stuff. So they can't do anything else and just slowly choke them out. I think this was the point when I had Lancia in my hand. I was like, do I wait to, see if they've gotten evenly or anything, make them waste it, or do I shotgun it, at the start? Because when I went against this guy, I don't know why, even just game 1 before I knew what he was playing, I just had a weird feeling it was Kashtira, and I know that if you stop them banishing, they can't do the 5-zone lock. Basically. So, but I held off and he turned priority and he used Pot of Prosperity. Obviously, like if I'd used this first, he wouldn't have been able to pot. So I think, if I'm ever going second, I may just wait for standby, ask the turn player if they have anything, and if they don't, then I'll Lancia. If they have D-Shifter, they have turn priority, they'll go first. You chain the Lancia and the Lancia sticks, which means, nothing can be banished, even though they did drop the D-Shifter. So I think Lancia is really good, and I'm really happy with it at 3. It didn't protect me against evenly matched, which was the intention, but I think it had other utility as well, as I'll talk about in my third matchup. So the Kashtira one, I ended up winning in time, I believe, because the first game was just such a grind fest of just me just controlling, using Amelia to pop the field spell, to pop the birth. Yeah. I don't think Ash is particularly helpful against Kashtira, but I don't think I saw it too much, so that was actually fine. Alright, so let's move on to third matchup, which I think is actually the most interesting out of all three games I played, and this was against Labyrinth. So you can imagine my excitement when I found out my opponent was playing Labyrinth, and I was just turned to my boyfriend and tried to kind of like not let on to his opponent that he was playing Labby. So this is like one of the nuances of 3v3. You need to ask for advice, but not make it obvious, you know, what your teammates are playing. And I think there's a lot of strategy in that. And it's super fun, just, you know, because I sat in the middle, so I had, you know, two great people just either side of me, keeping me calm, and I just really like that team atmosphere. So yeah, against Labyrinth, I somehow managed to win the dice roll again, but unfortunately, I think I did end up losing the first game, I believe. I think they evenly matched me, which was unfortunate, and I happened to not have, I don't think I had Lancia in my hand for that one, so if basically they just choked me out, and I think at one point I was starting to kind of get back into it, and they flipped a skill drain on me. So you know, if my Traptrix extra deck stuff is already out on the field, okay, and they flip skill drain, that is not an issue, because these are unaffected by trap effects. But if the continuous skill drain has already resolved and is currently live and active, then anything that I special summon out the extra will be subject. And my one way of inbuilt spell trap removal, to be honest, is Memelio, and that would be obviously skill drained. So as soon as that happened, I just looked to my teammate, who's a Labby player, and I was like, look, do you think this is a scoop? So I quickly scooped, and we went to game 2. Obviously, I went first again. It was pretty tough. But I think I ended up choking the Labyrinth player out, namely because I think in this hand, even though my starting board was not great, I had 2 Ash and a Lancia in hand. So I think I managed to Ash one of their pots, and they had to just set and pass. And then in my end phase, I think they tried to activate a welcome or a big welcome, and I could Ash that as well. And then I think in my turn or something like that, I managed to shotgun the Lancia. And this is the great thing about 3v3. You can ask your teammate for advice. I asked my fellow Labyrinth player. He took one look at the graveyard, saw there was a big welcome in there, and he was like, yeah, shotgun the Lancia. Because otherwise they can use that big welcome in the graveyard as a compulsory activation device. They can spin something back to your hand or extra deck, wherever it came from. I think provided they have a level 8 fiend monster on the field. So I eventually got, I think, just 3 normal monsters on the field, and just was going to attack, and they just scooped. So we had about like 8 minutes or something for game 3. And this was really intense. I think I got Daruma cannoned as well. So obviously when Daruma cannon's incredibly strong against Traptrix, because it'll turn all of your extra deck stuff that's Nixie, for example Rafflesia, face down. And then because link monsters can't be turned face down, they just get sent by player mechanic. You know, it's just like evenly the difference of stuff being a trap effect versus player mechanic. So yeah. But I managed to get the Sarah back out, thankfully, by using Holutea to get her out, so I could still use her effects to try and gain more advantage. I think there was one moment which I was just kicking myself a little bit about, because I think I managed to get an Atipus out on the field with 2/8, and then I also had, I believe, an Alameris as well in attack position. So Atipus will boost all your Traptrix monsters by 1000 attack, provided you have a normal trap in the graveyard. So Alameris would have become 3/2, she's 2/8. and I think he had a defense position monster. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just attacked it with Labyrinth, and then hit him for, I think, 2-8 or something. I can't remember, something like that. And it's like I should have done it the other way round, and then I would have gotten more damage. Yeah, I think it might have been into an attack position, Ariana, or something. Also just always remember that Atipus has that 1000 attack boost, because when you're in heat at the moment and calculating, I think it's easy just to kind of, your opponent might forget that, so just remind them of the attack boost. Yeah, I should have totally yeah, I can't remember if it was their face down or something. I should have attacked with the small one first and then smacked them with more damage. And that could have cost me, because I think later on there was an interesting chain link going on. So I think he activated chain link 1 Ariana to search a Lady Labyrinth from deck. I had, because he was turn player, so he got priority. Then chain link 2, I activated Sarah to try and special summon from deck, I think, or something like that. And then I just completely forgot I had an infinite imperm set on the field, so I could have chain linked 3 and negated the Ariana, which basically would have stopped him getting another Lady Labyrinth to hand, special summoning it out on the field and smacking me for damage, because we ended up equal life points at the end. We ended up on 7,000 each at time, and that was super annoying because we drew. My boyfriend who plays Labby also drew his match versus Sky Striker, but thankfully our other friend and teammate playing Marincess managed to get a win, so he pulled that through for us, and we ended up finished winning 2 of our games and losing 1. And because the venue had to close, everyone got an auto free win, so we ended up going 3-1, which I'm pretty happy with, and that got me 12 points, which I'm hoping to buy a winner play mat with, and hopefully I'll be back at the 3v3 on Sunday as well to try and get some more points to see if I can get a regional pink deck box, which would be super awesome. So yeah, I think there's some other things that I wanted to mention as well, just on that, looking at my notes. If Holitea is always worth going against back row deck, especially Labyrinth, keeping a Melio and a Holitea in the graveyard, just in case you see them searching for the Eradicator Epidemic Virus. You can banish the Holitea, special summon a Melio, and just hit that card that they've set, because that's the thing that will kill this deck if they call traps. So always get the Melio out if you can. It's super helpful. And you can also just use it for a welcome Labyrinth as well if you want as well. So I think that's mainly what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I managed to use the shotgunning artifact Lancia against the Labyrinth player as well. I was umming and ahhing about it, and I was just like, I'm just going to do it. And then I found out later that they'd had to set the Pot of Prosperity as a bluff, and I popped that. So obviously the Lancia stopped them from digging for more stuff in their deck. So that was super intense. And I think, yeah, game 3 I had managed to evenly match them as well when they went first after losing game 2. So that was pretty good. So yeah, overall, to summarize, I'm pretty happy with how I performed. I think I was playing, to the best of my ability. I think I remembered almost all my triggers, especially with Sarah. It was tough. I'm really, really pleased with how this package pulled through. It just helps me hit over any tricky things. And is an immediate Zeus. So I think going back to game 1, I think I must have Zeused twice through our 2 matches, because it's just nice to threaten that, I guess. Because sometimes Traptrix stuff by itself can be a little bit weak, especially the Sarah 800 in attack position, obviously. I'm happy with the ratio of Pudica and Garden. Didn't see it too much. I didn't, be like, oh, I wish I had more copies of it in my extra. It seemed to work well. I was really happy with that. The Lord of the Heavenly, I have to be honest, against the Labyrinth matchup, it's suboptimal, because like I said, you want to be able to have the ability of Holitea and Melio to pop their EEV, and if you've revealed Lord of the Heavenly, well, you've kind of protecting them as well, which is suboptimal. And so, and just having a 3k thing on the field, they can definitely do weird things like bounce it back and just attack you anyway. So I'm not so hot on this really against the Labyrinth matchup, so I think I would side that out. I'm going to take it to locals a bit more and just sort of get used to it a little bit and see how I feel. I definitely like the 2-2-2 ratio still. Infinite Imperm, I think there's scope for this to drop to 1 if there's some other spice that I want to add. My side, I've got to be honest, I sided, but I didn't really see any of my sides all day. I have the weirdest feeling I just didn't draw them. So I didn't side draw and lock at all because I didn't really go against... I sided it against Kashtira but didn't see it. Solemn, yeah, I think I sided it but didn't see. Yeah, sided against Labby, didn't see. These ones, I honestly can't remember who, if I did. Gozen, I don't know. Honestly, I'm really happy with actually how my main core deck functioned. So I guess, you know, I don't think I'm going to be changing my build too much going forward. I'm really happy with that Utopia package. So let's see how things go. I think that's all I wanted to talk about this time. So if you stuck it through, thanks for watching until the end. And like I said, I will be back later in the week with a new video about what I get in these lovely Portuguese language packs. Yeah, so thanks again, and I'll see you very soon.